Good morning guys, and thanks for joining me for another What I Eat in a Day as a vegan doing best to follow the Slimming World plan. Today is Monday, it's the 9th of November, and I'm just putting some breakfast together before I go start work. This morning I've decided to have my Cherry Bakewell baked oats again. Really delicious, and I just really fancied it this morning, so I'm just putting that together now and then it can bake in the oven for half an hour. Here is all the ingredients that I will use. Basically, it's 40 grams of oats, 100 mils of almond milk. Obviously, I've just got the barista one because that's the only one I buy. That's one SYNS for that one. I'm going to use maybe 100 grams of cherries. Because they're going to be cooked, they work out at 2.5 SYNS for 100 grams. I might use slightly less, so I'll come back to you on that. And then I was just doing some calculations and I decided to use slightly less almond butter and maple syrup than normal. So I'm doing 2 teaspoons of almond butter for 3 SYNS. And then I'm doing 2 teaspoons of maple syrup for 1 SYN, which I've just realised I haven't got out. And then just a pinch of baking powder, which I think it's like half a SYN for a teaspoon, but I just use a tiny pinch so I don't SYN that. And then I've got some almond and vanilla extracts as well. I just started by combining the 2 teaspoons almond butter, 2 teaspoons maple syrup, and a few drops each of the almond extract and the vanilla extract. So I'll just mix them all together, then I'm going to add my 100 mils of milk. Okay, so to my extra nutty nut milk mixture, I'm going to add 40 grams of oats, my baking powder, and my cherries. So I actually just went with 80 grams of cherries because I felt that was enough. A few have actually gone to the bottom, so there is loads in there. And I don't want it to be like all cherry and no oats because then I don't find it as satisfying. So that's going to be 2 SYNS for the cherries. And now I'm going to pop it in the oven for half an hour on 180. So while my baked oats bake, I'm just having my first coffee of the day, which has got my usual 100 mils of Alpro Almond Barista for just 1 SYN. Typical. I missed the timer on the oven, so my oats are a little bit overdone, but not burnt. So thank God. I suddenly thought I should just go and check because it's odd that I haven't heard the timer yet. I don't know how I managed to miss it, but hey ho, thank goodness. And here they are in all their glory, looking delumptious. Honestly, this feels like such a decadent breakfast. It's not enormous. Oh, did you hear that cherry like fizz then? Because it's so hot. Yeah, it's not enormous, but it's really filling and satisfying. Especially because you've got the nut butter in there as well, I think. So yeah, I don't mind that this is, I think it's a 7 SYN version, this particular one. So, you know, it's just such a good way to start the day. Well, hello my lovelies, it is lunchtime and I'm going to have like a pasta salad for my lunch. I've got some leftover pasta from Saturday, I think, so I'm going to use that one. And I've also got some Cauldron marinated like Greek style cubes. It's basically marinated tofu, like little cubes, not like the normal Cauldron marinated tofu. This is in like herby oil stuff. The pot is 250 grams and Slimming World app says for 25 grams it's 2 SYNS. I'm not sure if that includes the oil or not, but I figure, you know, whatever. There's bound to be a little bit that comes with it, but 2 SYNS is very high just for a bit of tofu, so, you know, swings and roundabouts, I guess. I actually got this one, like I was buying it in the summer, it was really nice, but then the other day I found this one reduced to 50p randomly in Sainsbury's, not because it was going out of date, but because they obviously just wanted to clear the shelf space for Christmas stuff, so happy days for me. So I've got my leftover cooked pasta. I'm going to put in a red pepper, I've got some little tomatoes, some cucumber, I've got a few leaves left over that need using. I would use a red onion because it's kind of the Greek salad vibe, but I've got a white one already like opened, so I guess I'll just use that. I've got my little cubes. This is the label, sorry I already tore it off. Greek style cubes in Mediterranean herbs. If you look for this on the app, the Slimming World app, don't put in tofu because it doesn't show up. You have to put in the like Cauldron, and then it will come up. It's the last entry if you put in Cauldron. But this is what they look like, and they are honestly really tasty. So I'm going to keep the oil as well because that'll be nice to use in other stuff. Yeah, so basically it's just chop and chuck it all together. Here's the finished product. I've used half the pack of the tofu cubes, and that is 125 grams, although it wasn't quite 100, I mean, it was like 70 grams on my scales, but it really looked like I'd used half. So I'm just gonna assume it's 125 grams and call it the 5 SYNS that will make it. Yeah, and now I've just topped it with some garlic pepper and some sea salt, like always, really. So that took me literally 8 minutes to put together, and I'm very happy with how it looks. It's a total of obviously just 5 SYNS for half the pot of Cauldron marinated tofu pieces. It didn't weigh anywhere near 125 grams, but I definitely used half the pieces, so I think that SYN value must include the oil, but I don't know. I didn't like put extra oil on. Obviously there was a bit on the tofu, but anyway, so 5 SYNS for that one. And here's the finished product. I just topped it with some garlic pepper and some sea salt. So those of you who watch regularly know that my little budgie Delta can't fly. And also she's not really handleable. Also I thought, but right now she's on my shoulder. So basically every now and then she kind of falls out of her cage, and Dels, please don't poop on me. You know, it's fine because she kind of flaps her wings on the way down, so she doesn't land heavily or anything. But so I heard a tiny thump from the other room, and I went out because I thought it's got to be her, and it was. And yeah, she was on the floor, so I did the usual thing. I got the cage down. Hello. I got the cage down, and then I always open the bottom door, and eventually she makes her way over and pulls herself up. And but today she didn't. She came over to me. She hates hands normally, but she came over to my hand on the floor and actually like did a little grooming thing on it, which then turned into half a bite, but it wasn't like massively. And then she was just pottering around on the floor, so I was just sort of sat with her. And then the postman put something through the letterbox, and it made her jump, and she came running over to me. I was so shocked. She came running over, my hand was on the floor, and she was looking at my hand, and she just climbed onto my hand, and it's literally the first time that's ever happened, and it was just so lovely, and I was just like, oh my god. And then anyway, from there she climbed up my arm, and she's been on me ever since. And I haven't got the heart to sort of put her back in her cage, because she seems like she's having a nice time being out of the cage, don't you? I mean, I guess grooming yourself means you're relaxed, so yeah. So there we go. I've now got a permanent budgie on my shoulder till she poops. Hey guys, I'm filming over here because my phone is about to die. It is currently about 7:15 and I'm just making some dinner. This evening I'm going to have the chipotle black bean chili that Caitlin Shoemaker did. She's a vegan YouTuber. You might also know her as From My Bowl. She's been around for many years. I really like her. But she put a video out a couple of weeks ago called Cozy Autumn Dinner Ideas or something like that. I'll put a link in the description today so you can make it as well. But yeah, essentially I'm making that recipe for my dinner. It doesn't require any real tweaks. The only SYNS ingredients are some olive oil, which obviously you could substitute for fry light if you wanted to, but I'm fine with using oil. So I'm using a tablespoon of olive oil for 6 SYNS, a tablespoon of cocoa powder, which is 2.5 SYNS, that's 8.5, and also I think it's either a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of chipotle chili paste, which I happen to have it in, so that was fine. That's 2 SYNS for a tablespoon. I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2 tablespoons I'm going to need to use. I don't want it to be like super spicy. So we'll see how that works out. And I'll show you as I go along, but to be honest, it's a really simple recipe and it's Caitlin's recipe, so I'll just link her below. Okay, things got a bit hectic. And I was going to show you some of the process of making this chili. It's really simple, which is great. If it tastes fantastic, I'm here for it. And I hope it does, because it made quite a big batch. So basically, let me just talk you through what I had to do. this is the finished product, although I am going to blend it a little bit, just like Caitlin suggests in her original recipe. Basically, it's 1.5 onions. I only added the extra half because I had it left over from earlier. I used a tablespoon of olive oil, sauteed the onion in that, added in some of my pre-prepared frozen garlic that I make, and also a tablespoon of cocoa powder, just Bourneville cocoa powder. That's 2.5 SYNS, and then a tablespoon and a half of chipotle chili paste. It's 2 SYNS for a tablespoon or half a SYN for a teaspoon. I probably used a tablespoon and 2 teaspoons, so we'll call that 3 SYNS. And then you mix that all together. You put in, she said 1/4 cup of tomato puree. I didn't have quite that much, so I just used the rest of the tube. Mix all that, let it like cook in the thing. Oh, and sorry, a tablespoon of cumin as well, my apologies. So then you just let that cook for just a couple of minutes, and then you add in 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. Again, she's in America, so she gets fire roasted tomatoes, but we don't have them here as far as I know. So yeah, mine are normal. But then it should be 4 tins of black beans, obviously drained and rinsed. Turned out I only had 3, so my 4th tin was red kidney beans. Didn't realise they were in chilli sauce, but they were. So I just chucked the whole lot in, and I figured that would substitute for the fire roasted tomatoes. So that's that. And then also 500 ml of boiling water and stock. I just used a normal vegetable stock pot. And then I just added in some salt. I was going to say and pepper, but I didn't add in any pepper because I don't think I want to add pepper. So yeah, I'm just going to blend it up a teensy bit just to thicken the sauce like she suggests, and then I'm going to serve mine in a bowl with some vegan cheese. I just used my stick blender and stuck it in this area here. As you can see, the rest of it is still intact, so then we'll just mix that together and that'll give it a nice thick base. What a difference. Yeah, that's really nice. Oh, I like that. Cool, I'm going to go serve up. Okay, excuse the mess, because I'm not going to clear up till later. But yeah, I've got 4 nice portions out of that, so I'm very happy. Believe it or not, this is the same amount as in these. They're surprisingly capacious. There you go, there's a good word for the day. On my portion for this evening, I've added 80 grams of vegan cheese, which is obviously cocoa, so that's my 2 healthy extra A's for the day. I worked out in total it was 11.5 SYNS for the whole pot. Call it 12, so that's 3 SYNS a portion, so that's more than reasonable. And that's it really. I'm gonna go eat because this is a big bowl of cozy and I am ready for it. I'm gonna add a bit more salt though. I did just try it and it needed a little bit more salt, so I'm gonna do that, but then we're away. Okay, so it's the end of the evening, oh well, good as far as you're concerned it is, and I've just finished sorting out the kitchen and made myself a couple of drinks, as usual. It's my herbal tea from Pucker, the nighttime one, and a Galaxy hot chocolate. So the hot chocolate is 5 SYNS, obviously tea is free, and it's this tea here. And that's it really. So I'm not planning on having anything else, so I will add up my SYNS and post it in the comments as usual and go and upload this video. Alright guys, I will see you tomorrow. Good night.